everyone. Well, we mentioned in last week's update that we were expecting it to turn much colder as we moved through in towards the weekend just gone. And it did indeed turn slightly colder, but we didn't really see much in the way of any frost apart from the odd ground frost. Because the coldest weather has been delayed by a day or two. But it is still on its way though. And it will be with us in the next 36 hours. We will start to see that colder air coming down towards us. So we'll start off here with the old synoptic charts that we always show you, and you can see these areas of high and low pressure. Now, what's going to be driving the cold air towards us is partly to do with this high pressure area up here, partly to do with this low pressure out here to the northeast towards Scandinavia. And please forgive these excessive looking areas of high pressure here. We've got a bit of a glitch with the system. We've had this issue for a while. Having trouble fixing it. So, but we'll just leave it at that. So as we run through, you can see as we move through tomorrow, we've got this area of low pressure moving in from the west or west-northwest. Cold air on the northern side of it, which will bring quite a bit of snow across northern England and into Scotland. Down the south here, we're in the mild sector in this area here, and you can see that by these colours here where the cold air really begins, and that doesn't start to come through until Tuesday really, and then we start to see as much colder air coming down across us. And then as we move through into Wednesday, that cold air stays with us. In fact, it looks like turning even a little bit colder as we move towards Wednesday and into Thursday. Now Thursday is when things get a little bit complicated, as we see this area of low pressure here, this little system here. It moves in from the west or west-northwest and moves quite close to our area. Now, if it moves down here to the south and takes this kind of track through central France, it won't really have much impact on our area. If it moves ever so slightly north through this kind of track here, we could well see some precipitation, which will be falling in the form of rain around windward coasts, but sleet and snow inland and on hills. So we've got to keep an eye on this little system to see what it's going to end up doing, because we're really still not that sure on how it's going to progress. Then after this, that little system moves away. We briefly get a bit more northerly flow behind it, which is still quite cold. And then as we move in towards the weekend, we start to see these areas of low pressure move in off the Atlantic, and it becomes much milder indeed, as you can see with these colours here, these reds and even oranges showing some very mild temperatures. Beyond that, it's rather uncertain. Each model has its own take on what will happen. Some of them bring the cold back in from the north. Others keep the milder, warmer air from the south. So I'm not even going to attempt to really look that far at the moment, but we're going to take it up until Friday, really. So first of all, we're going to run through the cloud cover over the next few days, well, really through the week. And then we'll follow it by the rainfall maps and then the temperatures and winds. So this is how it's looking over the next day or two. We run through into tomorrow, a lot of cloud around. In fact, that will be bringing some rain, which we'll show you in just a moment. And then as we move through into Tuesday, things gradually start to change. So things start to brighten up from the north, and we start to see some really good sunny spells. There will of course be some areas of cloud moving through, but there'll be a lot more sunshine than we've seen really. In fact, look at this, Tuesday night into Wednesday, really clear skies, which we will get to in a minute, because it's going to be a very cold night on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Then we see this area of cloud moving in again as we move through into towards Wednesday. Wednesday evening, cloud starts to push in from the west, and that's with us through Thursday, which is looking like a cloudy day before things start to brighten up again on Friday. Now let's add some precipitation to that. So here we are again, back for tonight. You can see some patchy rain around at the moment, which is falling here and there, nothing too special. And then you can see as it gathers itself together overnight, clears for a bit towards the morning before further spells of rain move through from midday tomorrow right across our area. And it's really Monday evening it stays with us. But you notice here the winds are coming from the west-southwest, but then change towards tomorrow evening as they start to come round more from the north. and then the northwest, or north to northwest, from as we move through Tuesday morning, and then that stays with us. We'll keep these wind arrows on here so you can follow the wind directions. And you can see that through Tuesday and Wednesday, beautiful days, nothing really in the way of rain, it looks clear and dry. And then we start to see this, it's showing as rain here of course, but as it bumps up against this colder air to the north, it could well turn to sleet and snow. But again, we are uncertain how far north this little system is going to shift. It may be a little bit too far south and we'll see nothing. Or if it moves too much further north, we could end up seeing just rain. So the most likely scenario is for it to shift further south. In fact, we're going to give a little bit more of an update on this tomorrow. And we'll give some percentages on what the likelihood of each scenario will be. And then as we move through into Friday, it stays mostly dry with just a few showers here in the English Channel. So we're not going to go beyond that because, like I said, it's very uncertain what's going to happen beyond there. So now let's have a quick look at the temperatures for the Isle of Wight and the English Channel surrounding the island, and also the Solent and parts of southern England. We'll give it a bit of a wider view so you can see, it gives you a bit of an idea really of what's happening as a whole. So this is this evening. At the moment we're looking at temperatures 10, 11 degrees across the island, so it's pretty mild. But then as we move through tonight, the temperatures stay really 9 to 10 degrees, drop a little bit tomorrow before rising again from the south as this warm air comes in off the English Channel. So 10, 11, 12 degrees tomorrow, perhaps even as high as 13 in a few spots in the south and west. Then Monday night, or tomorrow night should I say, you can see the wind direction start to change, and you can see these blue colours shifting southwards as the temperature starts to fall away from the north. So on Tuesday we're seeing much colder temperatures 4 or 5 degrees really. So it's going to be colder than average with this fresh northwesterly breeze blowing. And then as we move through into Tuesday night, of course this doesn't show the level of detail here because this is quite a low resolution model, but you can see the temperatures reaching freezing quite widely really across southern England. It does show it slightly higher here on the island, but I can assure you by the time we hit this day, it's going to be temperatures close to or possibly fractionally below freezing on the island. So of course we'll give you some more on that tomorrow and the next day. And then as we move through Wednesday, temperature's still cold, 4 to 5 degrees really. It looks showing 6 or 7 here on the coast, but really anywhere away from the coastal areas is going to feel cold. And then we see another frost on Wednesday night, quite a significant frost really, a few degrees below freezing, and then we get that wide area of cloud moving in. Now as we move through the afternoon, the temperatures fall away, and this will be under this precipitation that's falling. So like I said, it will be rain on the coast, sleet, hill snow, and possibly a bit of snow inland as well if it does fall in our area. And then as we move through to Friday, the temperatures stay rather chilly, but not too bad. So we're looking at 6 to 7 degrees, possibly 8 here around Windward Coast, but it's looking quite fresh and quite cold. And now we'll have a quick run through of the wind, and we're going to use the wind gusts on this one, so it gives you a bit of a bit more of an idea of how cold it's going to feel in that wind and how bitter it will actually feel with when you feel those stronger gusts coming through. So that's tonight. The winds aren't too strong across most of the island, but we'll make that slightly softer there. It gives a bit of a clearer indication of the gusts when you do it this way. And as you can see, the winds become light through early in the morning, and then tomorrow evening they start to pick up again, quite strong from the southwest or west-southwest, possibly even reaching gale force along the coastal areas here. So we're seeing 55, possibly up to 60 mile an hour in some exposed areas. And then as we move through into Tuesday, the winds drop off a bit, but it's still pretty strong, pretty gusty, gusting up to maybe 25 or 30 miles per hour. And then really they start to drop off a little bit Tuesday night, but it will still feel cold with that wind blowing. And it's still fairly breezy on Wednesday, with gusts up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Average speeds 12 to 18 really, so still fairly breezy. And then as we move into Thursday, the winds start to change direction. They come a little bit more round to the east or northeast, is with that low pressure system that runs through the channel or just to our south. And then behind that, they start to come round slowly into the west, which is really the start of things changing back into the west and southwest as we get some milder air moving in towards next weekend, or at least most likely. So there we go, really. It's looking like a rather chilly week with plenty of bright spells from Tuesday onwards. A bit more cloud again on Thursday, possibly with some wintry precipitation coming up from the west, should I say, pushing up towards us. But hard to say on that one at the moment. And then clearing away again for Friday. But yeah, it doesn't look like too bad a week as a whole. The frosts don't look like they're going to be too intense. Only temperatures, a degree or two below zero in the most sheltered spots. And it will be quite dry air as well. So not much risk of any mist or fog, as well as the winds being quite breezy all week. So we'll probably knock down quite a lot of those autumnal leaves from the trees. So there's going to be a lot of them floating around and on the roads and walkways. So watch out for that. But other than that, not a terrible week coming up. Of course, we'll give you more on the potential sleety winteriness later in the week. And we might do a little bit more on the gales coming up for tomorrow evening and night. But other than that, that's all for now. Goodbye.